Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mark Guerra here with my business partner Morris Henderson with Mortgage Resolution Advisors, and we have another hot topic today. Today we're going to talk about loan modifications. What does that mean? Morris, you want to explain a little bit more about these loan modifications?
Sure. Thank you so much for giving me that responsibility again, as usual, as the Webster's Dictionary. I just love when I have to elaborate these wonderful things. But sure, why not? So a loan modification is described to modify to a current loan made by the bank in response to a person's long-term inability to repay the loan. Okay. So, Mark, what do you think that it involves?
Hmm. I would say, let me see. Well, if they can't afford to pay the loan, then they're going to have to move things around to make them be able to afford it, right?
Correct.
So they probably maybe lower the interest rate,
That's one. Okay.
maybe try to lower the payment by reducing the loan sometimes or adding to the end of the loan where you're behind on if you are behind. So basically, it's just modifying the existing contracts. You have a contract, you agree to a certain payment amount, interest amount, and they're going to work it around so that you can now afford to pay the payment. But you got to remember, it's not a guarantee. If you don't make the payment, what happens? You could still possibly lose the house, right? And it could also affect your credit because you're getting out of your current contract and asking them for help to modify your loan.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, that's that's pretty much right on
So
the
is it a good
buttons.
thing or a bad thing?
That's well, I mean it could be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. It just depends. Everything's case by case. But that's good. To open. One of the things is this is that now when a bank might say, hey, you know what, open up and do a modification on your loan because the cost of doing is less than the cost of default, meaning, and this is kind of my simple terms for it, it's going to cost you less just to do a modification than it is just to let that loan go into default. It's a headache. We don't, we wouldn't want anybody to go through that, and we definitely are telling everybody to definitely, if you could do a modification, please go about doing the modification. So, again, like Mark was saying, that's the question, Mark. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? So, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing because if you're having trouble making your payments and the bank's willing to work with you because of the reasons you just said, they just don't want to have to deal with going through the whole foreclosure process with you and things like that. So they're willing to negotiate, let's say, right? So they're willing to maybe tweak a little bit on the interest, do some little things to get your payment down so that you could afford it. If you're behind, maybe they'll put that towards the end of the loan. They don't want to go through that process if they don't have to. And as you know, the loan modification, it is going to change the contract, the original contract you have on the loan. It's going to change your payments. It's going to change the interest on it. Like I said earlier, it could affect your credit when they do that type of stuff. And then you still have the likelihood of losing your house. It doesn't mean you're not going to, lose your house if you don't make payments on this new program. They're gonna go ahead and still foreclose on you. So you don't want to wait till the last minute to take care of this. I would advise you to call your lender and ask about what they could do to help you, before that process gets too far. A lot of people kind of say, "Oh, I'll think about it later," or I'll pretend like it's not happening. If you can't afford, your payment today, and you don't think you're going to afford it next month and the next month, then why wait till all that happens? The sooner you take care of these things, the better it is going to be for you. The more willing the bank's going to be willing to work with you because you came to them and let them know, hey, I need help with this, and that's what we try to do. Just kind of give you advice on how, we can help you avoid some of these things. If you're already at that point where you're behind and everything, you can still give us a call, free consultations, and we can show you, what you need to do, what you need to say when you call your bank and things like that, where we can help you.
Yeah, very good point. And speaking of the banks, and that's the thing we've been talking about so many aspects of foreclosure in these videos, Mark. And it's just a costly thing, foreclosure. And these banks, they don't want anyone to go through that process, And there's so many families out there that truly, again, need to consider the process of loan modification because it's just a way for you to avoid foreclosure. And so, going back to what Mark is saying, loan modification, there's going to be so many aspects that we'll be able to do for you, getting on a consultation with us and discussing the options you have. But Mark, most importantly, how can families get a loan modification? What are some ways that they can just get a modification if they were trying to not wait or try to not procrastinate? What are some ways?
Yeah, I mean, I'd always recommend giving us a call or giving somebody a call, get a little advice before you call the bank. That way you can be prepared. But ultimately, you're going to have to make that call. You're going to contact your lender or the servicer of your loan to make those arrangements. But I would say, do a free consultation, whether it's with us or another company, so you could know your rights and, find out how much you owe on the house. Is there a better way, before you go through with that loan modification? Do you have equity in the property? Do you still want the property? Do you want to sell the property? Would you rather downsize? You don't have to commit right away to what the bank says. You're going to contact the bank, but if they offer you something and you feel like you still can't afford that payment, there's lots of options out there. We have the home exchange program. We have different ways where you can get your equity out if you still have equity. Even if you have no equity, where you can, swap out of that house, maybe get into a different home. No matter what your credit situation is, there's different ways and options out there. All we say is get as much information as you can before you make that decision on what you're going to do, because this could determine the rest of the next 7 or 8 years at least. Right?
Definitely, absolutely.
If you do go through with it, or if you happen to get the foreclosure, the main thing is avoid getting a foreclosure on your record. Whatever you got to do, that's the last resort. And we have so many options to where there's no reason why anybody should ever have to go through a foreclosure if you know what options are out there.
And that's a very good point. Again, for us, we want to make things extremely simple for you. So, just look at it like this. Banks, lender to lender, it just all varies. Some of them are going to want to ask for a lot of paperwork. They want to see a ton of proof that, hey, you have a hardship. They want to look at so much information just to see if you really are telling the truth. With us, we're not going to go through all of that. We're going to sit there and put you in a position where, hey, if you need the help, we're going to immediately find a program that's going to fit you and fit your needs. So look at it from that aspect too. And, again, we hope that you take advantage of the information that we did speak to you about today on this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're always putting very good information on what's going on in today's economy. Feel free to visit our website as well, mortgageresolutionadvisors.com. And don't forget to subscribe and like all of our material and share as well. So we hope that the material here was, again, helpful. And we ask all of you to continue to be safe and take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.